Uh, why do I have so many images on this? What's the name of this thing? Scene, scene. Yeah. Why do I have so many things? Anyway, good evening. Good morning. Uh, anyway, hi. It it has been quite a while. Wow. I wasn't even expecting to disappear for like 4 days. I think it was something like. Also, I need to see my own audio, bro. Let me see that right now. What is quiero my own audio? Quiero audio, audio. Why is it so weird? Anyway, good evening, good good morning. Yes, it has been indeed a while. I will have to accept. I guess I don't know. Actually, actually lost in time. Yes, but yeah, here we are. I guess I don't know. The point is, anyway, good, good morning. It, I don't know, it has been quite a little bit. Things changed? No, nothing really changed, I think. So yeah, we are fine. Also, why do I need to scream so much? Did I change something again in the mic and I didn't realize that? Ah, I hate this so much anyway. What's up? What's what was the expression like? What's up, YouTube? Yeah, I was searching for tags, and one of them was tagged. It was so funny. uh, anyway, I I don't know. I think it's fine. Here we are. That's sort of enough to a certain degree. That's sort of sufficient to be happy. I guess I don't know. It's once again. It has been so long that I wasn't even expecting to not be here for so long. I I assume it happens unavoidably to everyone to some degree. You find yourself not in the places that you want to be as much. Other things in life take you somewhere else, I guess, and what's not. So you end up having to do things. I don't know. I have been reflecting on that, I guess, understanding those not just the responsibilities, but rather certain necessary places of action, let's say, or something like that, basically. Those things which you must do out of nowhere because they unavoidably will affect your life in one way or another. So, yeah, events of that sort happen. And I think it's quite funny to go through them, not because they are hard to navigate through, but rather because it's funny to see it, I guess. I I wouldn't expect it to be such a normal thing, but yeah, it happens quite a lot, and it's fine. I believe it's enjoyable enough. Let's say so. Yeah, that's good enough. Besides that, what else? Uh, yeah, it. I don't know. I was stunned to see that it was like 4 days of not being here. I don't know. I think it's quite crazy. You wouldn't expect to. I wouldn't even say miss, just not to be here in that sense. Not make the time, probably something like that, most surely, to be here. So yeah, it's crazy. It's I don't know. It's a lot to think out. It's hard to properly even feel like one can think about those things in a certain way. I remember having tried to talk about it before. It's always to some degree something that makes you, I guess, minimally not even uncomfortable, but rather it just makes you need to sit with your own ideas in a different way than what is habitual. So yeah, it's from that sense weird. But it's basically, yeah, here we get to be. And something funny that happens is it's it's something that could happen quite a lot more. And yeah, I don't know. It's something that shouldn't be that hard to do, I guess. It's literally all of that. Once again, literally just a me problem. But anyway, the reality also is, I feel like it's funny to try and think about it in a different way, in a different manner, in the from the sense of, and you know what happens most of the time with all of these things, it's that we can be here, yeah, but it's it's hard to justify being here at some point, yeah. It's hard to justify all of this. It's the constant, the endless battle against oneself, something like that, I assume. But yeah, it 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 doesn't mean that it cannot be survived, so to speak. So that's also good. But basically, basically, it just requires a little bit of patience, and just because of that, it's quite good. I can say. I don't know. At this point, let me say like this. Let me start with something properly. I have quite a lot of, I don't know if the correct word would be something like issues, but something along those lines in terms of, yeah, there are way too many things to see and to try to get and whatnot, and I find it quite, I guess I can say it, quite exciting, quite entertaining to learn how to stuff. So I guess I kinda forget that I also need to do every other thing. I think that has been quite a staple of me throughout time. That yeah, we have been here in a very interrupted manner, not because it needs to be interrupted, but rather because it's me just trying to actually to actually get to be here, to get myself, I guess, I don't know, something like that, to be here. And it doesn't take that much, but it's just everything else is what takes other things like time, energy more than anything else, interest and whatnot. And sometimes it's quite easy to justify different modes of action, let's say. And even then, it's not that bad. It's I don't know. This is quite a general idea, but yeah, I think it's a good process. That's one of already dealing with the grief of, uh, you know what? You can't really do everything that you want anyway, so you might as well try to do what you find to be the most fulfilling thing in general. And I don't know. I think it's always, let me say it like this. I I would have expected something like what we get to have here to take a lot more action in some way. So yeah, it's just a reminder that indeed we have all of this here, and that doesn't mean that it is something bad or anything like that, but it's just, and you know what? Um, we're fine. We're quite fine actually. But anyway, the actual point itself being here we are. So yeah, that's kind of good enough, I guess. Uh, I think I have mentioned all of that before already, but just in case, yeah, today is one of those days in which my throat is fucking weird. I don't know. I cannot really still explain why it happens. I have been trying to understand it. I have been trying quite a lot even to actually get a proper reason as to why all of that happens. But yeah, it, it just happens, I guess. No matter which reason is behind it, it happens. And yeah, today is one of those days. It shouldn't be such an issue, but it is, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. At the same time, I guess I know from having talk with people around me. Yeah, a good question is, does it actually annoy you? No, not personally. I guess to some degree, you tend to associate your voices with people and what's not, and you tend to associate your personalities with what you hear, so to speak. So it's a lot harder to properly identify someone. They are constantly changing their voice in that way, I guess. But I don't really, I don't think the proper word is angry. It's something along those lines, most certainly. Also, yeah, it's nonetheless, it's fine. It's fine. So yeah, that's quite good. I feel like that's sufficient in a certain way. I don't really, not just that I don't see an issue. I don't really have anything bad to say about it. I guess as long as we get to be here, I have learned to be a lot less exigent. I guess something like that. I remember, for example, I was thinking about it quite a quite a while. I don't know how far was it. I think it was the last week or so. Yeah, one of the many discussions that I got to have quite recurrently with people throughout time. I guess it's something that you learn to talk about with others. Is, oh yeah, we should try to get a hardware update and all of that, for example. But at the same time, I don't know. You don't really need to look that forward to things. We get to have this, and that is, I feel like, not in the sense of everything that we could ask for, but that is already nice enough. It's it's good to at the very least have this compared to not having anything at all. I think it's it's quite depressing to not have anything in that sense. But I don't know, man. You just wonder out things. Or let's say it more like this. We can try to wonder about things. Do we actually wonder about the stuff? In most cases, no, not actually. We just stay in that first mode of understanding out things, so it's easier to stay in that. I can just be angry that we don't get to have I don't know, new things to do. All of these other parts of existence, or yeah, everything else that also comes with that. Like, oh my god, I'm going to have a new PC to play video games. I cannot believe it. I am so angry. No, no. You learn to slowly adapt, to be less attached to things. I think, yeah, it's that whole idea of hardships teaches you, not in terms of the first concept that might come to mind of, well, yeah, hard times creates hard people and whatnot. No, no, not exactly like that. It's just, yeah, sometimes your expectations, your life, things get to change a little bit. Once you just adapt and move on from, wow, yeah, we need to have these things. We are obliged to so much. We require so many things. No, not in actuality. We don't. It's it's quite even pointless, I guess. That if that's the proper word, if there is any proper word to describe it, it's that, yeah. I don't know. I think I personally, I can also add to that is, yeah, on the other hand, I have to accept, sadly, I like quite a lot to stay in in the realm of ideas, in the thoughts, more than matter itself. So I, I don't know, I would even be, I can understand, uh, what was this guy? Socrates? No, what's his name? The cynic. Seneca? No. The guy who was a cynic anyway. One of the many cynics, the law, something like that. I don't remember his name, but yeah. Being like that guy is will also be enough, I guess. The world already has a lot of things. I can't really complain about not having one of the many, no, I guess, luxuries. Not even, I don't think even luxury is a proper word. I think luxuries describe things that might be useful. Those things are in some capacity useful, but not really necessary, I guess. It's like commodities, something like that, basically. Not truly a need, but rather just something that you believe is so much of a necessity to have, so much something that you must acquire or similar. We just overwork ourselves for all of that, I guess. But yeah, I my point itself was I don't feel angry that I don't have those things. I'm happy. I I can be happy. In other terms, though, what I was also trying to say was, and despite all of that, there are also other things that I do have to say at the very least. Like, yeah, um, we could be here a little bit more often, I guess. It's just, I don't know, it's, I already, I think throughout time, throughout the last weeks or so, I have already mentioned them enough times. I have like 1,000 different rationalizations as to why it's nice to not be here, but yeah, in actuality, it's also something that I want to do. So I guess, despite whatever else I might say, I should try. I, I don't know. I talk a lot about following our own wishes and having interest in our own desires and whatnot. So yeah, maybe stick to my own words, something like that, presumably. But yeah, I don't know. I am happy enough to some degree. I don't really need that much, I guess. I am trying to work, even if I do need quite a lot. I'm trying to work to not need all that much. So that's good enough. I feel like. So yeah. What's besides that? What else do we have? I don't know. I don't think there are that many things to also say. I think yeah, it's a nice enough job already. So that's correct enough. Just well, no. Okay. Yeah, unavoidably. Uh, Even if I say that it's fine, what the fuck happened the last 4 days? Good question. Let me drink some water. What happened was um, Friday. Friday was the first day of absence. Uh, it was me. Ah, yeah, we played the Realm. We played so much. It was so good, brother. What a wonderful experience. I think it's quite a wonderful thing to see. Yeah, I enjoy it quite a lot. I think more of it should happen. Sadly, I don't organize it that much yet. I could blame other people. The reality is I myself should also try to make it happen more. I don't know. Sort of what I am going to mention after that, basically. But yeah, that's what happened on Friday. On Saturday, it was. We ended up just chilling. We should have had a bar. We didn't have one because I rather spent it just chilling with people. I guess it was quite a nice day, quite a nice night. That one, and as a as a consequence of both, I think Friday and Saturday I had to rest, like actually rest on Sunday. Also, I didn't even get to properly rest on Sunday. By the way, I I I spent most of today resting, but that's something that was unexpected. Not like, oh wow, yeah. I was interested in resting, and I didn't get to do it because of a personal issue. No. It was more like I wanted to rest. I didn't get to do it. Uh, because of other events, let's say it like that. So yeah, I don't know. It it's just life happens basically, but it's fine enough anyway. It's completely fine enough. Besides that, I don't know. I haven't tried to continue my studies. I think I mentioned at this point. I know I already did. I started them like on Wednesday or so. The Summa Theologica. I haven't tried to go through it. That's such a fucking hard text to get. It's not hard in terms of arguments themselves. Everything is laid in front of you. Many of the language, yeah, most of the language that is used inside of it is completely day to day speak. Also, because I am going through a translated or adapted version to modern English. So yeah, it's nice in that sense, but it's still harder to get because it talks about things in such a, I guess, a roundabout way that it's hard to follow some of the ideas that take, I don't know, 20 minutes to fully deploy, develop, and explain. It's crazy, all of that. But it's good, it's good. I wouldn't recommend it, actually. I don't think it's a good read. I can say it so far. I don't think it's an obligatory read. Like, I don't know. I have talked about stuff before. I will say things like Das Capital, yeah, fall fall under a different category in which, yeah, you can say that it is somewhat nice to read it, if nothing else, because of other things that you get to see inside of it. This one, I think it's nice, but you have to truly have a usage for what you're going to read on it. Although, also, I can be quite happy that all of it talks about a lot of other philosophers and whatnot. I wasn't expecting to see so many mentions to so many people of older times. It's nice in that sense. The Summa Theologica is quite wonderful. I like that. I can say I am confident that I will try to finish it. I will finish it. Not I am confident that I will. I am confident that I will finish it. Sorry, but yeah, I don't know. That's for the readings. I guess I now that I also have been continuing to go through other stuff. I don't know. The process of information intake is quite wonderful. I guess I keep just surprising myself in terms of how much one can actually learn about the stuff if you have any desire in doing so. So that's why also it feels so nice to actually do that instead of just sitting around thinking about learning. Learning itself is good. If you truly have an interest in doing so, you just need to properly do it. I don't know. I can't say that I'm angry because I didn't do it before. I don't think that's the point. The point itself is, and now, yeah, the opportunity is being present. Trying to chase it as much as I can is quite an enjoyable task. Not because it comes out of the obligation, or I guess the future, the possible remorse that I might feel in the future, but rather out of a true interest in doing it itself. In the act of learning, there is already enough satisfaction so that it feels amazing, I guess. And I don't know. I think there are still way too many other ideas, concepts, books, things that I have to keep going through that I want to properly analyze and properly dissect and whatnot. But yeah, it's all of it takes time still. So I am just reaffirming what we already know. This is just a matter of, with enough patience, we will get to have more conclusions and whatnot. So far, all of them are sufficient enough to say at the very least something to not be like before and have absolutely nothing to truly add. So yeah, that's already some a beginning, not some a proper beginning. So yeah, that's wonderful, I guess. But anyway, also I I was trying to talk about like 10 minutes ago probably. Also wait, let me drink water. I was trying to talk about what I did and I kinda forgot. Yeah. Ah, no. I kinda said something. So yeah, I actually need to show up a little bit earlier. I actually need to start working on that particularly. Days like today, I shouldn't be so late here. I think it's not just a matter of, oh wow, yeah, I should do it, but rather I need to do it. I I don't know. I think it's one of those unspoken things that are almost taboo to properly mention, I guess. But yeah, it's quite counterproductive to stay until so late. Not because I don't enjoy it or anything like that, but yeah, because I can, let's say it from a more rational way. Certainly, no matter how much I want to sugarcoat the reality of things, I am quite unable of properly handling my own sleeping schedule and whatnot. So, end up forgetting that, I don't know, I shall get 8 hours of sleep properly throughout the day, not not break it down or anything like that. Also, not only that, but take into consideration how much I like to charge myself with things to process every single day. I end up being in a constant need of not just. I think, yeah, if I had nothing to do, I think probably I can work in like 6 hours. With 6 hours of sleep, I can function very basically. I can't probably carry out any kind of complex conversation. I cannot argue about the stuff. I I enter into a more pilot or automatic pilot mode, so to speak. I don't think it's that possible for me to actually get to not worry about things when I get to sleep just 6 hours. But I function anyways. But once again, that means no complex task involved. Otherwise, if I want to function correctly, I need to have like 8. And I guess that's hard, even more because something funny that I have seen is I don't know how to identify it correctly. If it is just a personal observation or if it is more of a real phenomena, let's say, of the more you grow up, also the more time you are obliged to have to do things, so to speak. I think a part of the routine and the life that doesn't need as much sleep of the older people has a lot to do with the fact that, yeah, indeed, you also have quite a wider variety of tasks that you want to actually accomplish, so to speak. So it's funny to see that, yeah, I don't know, many other reasons can provide me with enough of a fuel to wake up. I don't know, after just 5 hours of sleep and live my whole day fine or fine enough to do those things at the very least. Other minor tasks that were not anticipated, I do find that I do not as properly, but everything else that I get to plan out mentally in those days in which I don't know, I get to sleep just 5, 4, 3, 6 hours. All of those things that I have already thought about, that I have already planned in a certain way, I can do without any issue. Those are okay. Everything else that is out of the plan, that is completely unexpected, so to speak, all of those other things, those are what's require a lot more attention, so to speak, and a lot more interest. But anyways, it doesn't mean that I don't want to do them or that I actually don't feel like doing them. I just you can still do things. You just might not do them as equally good as you want to actually do them, so to speak. So yeah, that's also kind of hard. But anyway, the point being, what I said in an incredibly roundabout way, basically, or properly spelling it out, I should try to be here more early because a part of being here is also that I am not. It should not be seen as a sacrifice. It should be a proper organization of my own time, I guess, to make it happen that we can get to be here and show it our time and talk about things that do matter and whatnot without having to worry about anything else. And yeah, uh, that should involve being a little bit earlier. I just need to work on it, I guess. But that's just like everything else. A project doesn't mean that you get to see the results, and your desires themselves don't equal results, neither. All of it requires efforts anyway, so it's just the beginning of something, or the continuation of something. In this case, it's not like it has not been happening before, or that, yeah, I have already said. I can not even probably. I can actually go and check the votes, and I will be finding myself stating a very similar phrase throughout multiple occurrences. So yeah, same thing here. You know what? It's time to actually continue with all of those efforts, and that's sort of good enough. But yeah, basically that. Besides that, are there other things that I am quite missing? I don't. I try to not miss anything else, I guess. I don't know. Life happens. I I think there are way too many things happening right now. That's one of the many things I wanted to say. The world has been moving faster lately. It's surprising. I will go as far as to say, but nonetheless, it's interesting. So it's nice. At the very least, we get to have that satisfaction of it's nice to be here and to still have time to be around, to have enough time to observe, to be, to do, to want, to wish, in general, to keep existing, I guess. Existence is not still, it always has been, and it probably will always remain entertaining. But yeah, existence is funny. Existence is is quite quite surprising. Even I would go as far as that. It's quite surprising, and that is already good enough. I can confirm that that is already good enough, at least personally. But yeah, yeah. Besides that, is there any other thing? I don't know. I think on my daily updates, that's everything that I can say. I guess I. No, wait. Okay, yeah. There is one extra thing that is kind of hard to fit anywhere, but at the same time not so much. I have been having quite a lot of internet issues. I don't even know why actually. I had been incredibly tilted because of that. Also, I wasn't expecting to have so many issues with internet like I had been having. So yeah, um, that is something to try to work on. I haven't. We actually cannot solve that much. We are just a family, and if the ISP doesn't provide us with a good service, and they don't also respond or act in a way in which all of our problems get to be solved by them instantly, we're kind of fucked. So yeah, I guess just a heads up. It has been getting more and more intense lately. So yeah, I at least I can say no issue has actually happened during stream lately. I think yeah, we have had some moments of lag here and there, but besides that, it's not a I don't know real problem compared to other situations. It's not bad enough. So yeah, we just because of that we are fine already. But yeah, that's quite good. Also, I kinda said it. I kinda didn't. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember I should have tried to talk about that more. I said probably this week I was going to have exams. Okay, stuff happened. What I was saying, stuff happened on Sunday, on Friday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, during the whole fucking week. So yeah, I don't have exams basically. That's the quick rundown of things. I don't have exams on this it on this week. I don't have any. I can try to go. I will probably try to go to learn something to get to extract some informations from the teachers and whatnot. I also yeah. I have to still finish translating the PDF that I was creating. I don't even know how to properly write it or print it so that it can be understandable by anyone. But I will probably figure out a way. I hope so. Not that I hope so. I think I already even have a solution. I just need to properly apply it, so to speak, and that's the hardest part of it. Um, Doing what I know I should do. That's part of the procrastination of doing the things that you need to do, not when you actually are about to fail because you haven't done them earlier, but rather doing them because you want to, and because unavoidably it's also a sort of obligation, but mostly because you have time to do it. So yeah, basically that is I have found ways to work around things. I have even to some other degree, I guess. The biggest issue that I have been having is running all the different scenarios in which I will have to try to talk about it. And I will have to try to present it. I am not so worried as to how I need to print it. I have already understood how something as basic as that is done, but I guess the biggest issue itself is really going to a teacher out of all people and telling them, Mr. Police, you who are a fucking professional, read something written by literally in their eyes, a kid like me. I mean, that's something funny. we like to talk about philosophy, we like to talk about psychology, we like to talk about semiotics, we like to talk about a lot of fucking things. Many of those things are quite an amazing hide behind themselves quite an amazing realization. There is something very funny that happens with how you understand the stuff, and that is that in reality, in many of the fields that we find ourselves inhabiting, we are not really that much of an expert. What we have is only a handful of years of experience at best. We haven't spent our whole fucking lives trying to understand the stuff inside of it. We are at the very least we are capable of calling ourselves humans that know how to exist, so to speak. But the reality is we are not that good at ideas, and many of them are entire systems that were created throughout the whole lives of people. So it's quite impossible to get everything that they are talking about. And inside all of that, what also happens is as a realization that all of what I am talking about here exactly, all of those things are very condensations of what authors have already mentioned themselves. So yeah, unavoidably, uh, in terms of even if we want to say it as comparison is the killer of joy, it's the reality, man. You know only 1 or 2 years of some stuff, half a year. At the best, what I know the most about, in terms of real world ideas, I guess, only has 5 or less years of existence within me that I can properly say I started to learn about it and try to get those ideas and whatnot. So yeah, I'm they're incredibly, to some degree, childish, even if saying it out loud or picturing it without all of that other explanation sounds bad. Yeah, their ideas had by a fucking kid, not by a grown-up person who has spent their whole life thinking about this stuff and understanding them. And I don't know, this idea of okay, I am in my 40s or in my 60s, and I have spent so much time even measuring every single word that I will use that now I am completely ready to do it. No, I am just almost a little baby in terms of I have spent 1 or 2 years, quote unquote, seriously going through all of that. So yeah, I don't know. I am trying to process all of those things myself also. So yeah, that's just a long process. Everything like that is a long process. But what are we if not people who processes stuff, I guess. But anyway, I don't know. That's, I guess, a good enough summary of everything that has been happening. I feel like, besides that, what to look forward to this week? I don't know. I think I will try to figure it out probably by next week. I want to. I try to not say things that I will later on repent if anyone else asks me about. Not out of the issue of, oh wow, yeah, I'm going to get cancelled by that, but rather there are some ideas that you can avoid mentioning because you know that they are going to be annoying when someone else talks about them. Because you know that to some degree, either you fail, either you said it without properly thinking about it or similar stuff. So yeah, it's hard to mention it, but I don't know. I wanted, for example, this week I had a goal of I started without even starting the week. It was like Saturday or Friday of last week, and I was already trying to think about it and properly put mentally in perspective and put together something that could result in some other stuff happening. Let's keep it at that, but I don't know. Today already ended. Today is already not even for me, it's not even Monday. It's already what is it, Tuesday? So yeah, uh, things that require more time don't get to happen because time is limited. And also, what I said earlier, I had to rest. I had to rest way too much. I ended up using quite a lot of today to rest myself. So yeah, next week, I guess, next week we will have stuff like a schedule, probably posted somewhere. I don't know. I haven't. I have it here on the PC. I literally always had it on the desktop. I was thinking about it the other day even. It's quite funny to see that I always had in my desktop the last schedule I made. When last time I made a schedule, or before I made that one, I also did the same thing with the last one before that. And it's quite funny to see that, yeah, I don't really make that many schedules or whatnot. I just flow things, I guess. But also, it's it's hard to properly focus. So it ends up taking quite a lot of time to properly set things in stone like that. And I guess also something that I don't like to deal with is figuring out beforehand what we are going to do. It's quite a fun experience to get to come here, and I don't know, 5 minutes before streaming, literally the last 30 seconds before streaming, sometimes realizing what is it that I actually want to talk out, that I actually want to say. That whole idea of, I think the proper way of calling it would be the primacy of ideas. There are some things that you end up realizing matter a lot more than others. And in my case, it doesn't even happen sometimes, as I said before, until I am like 5 seconds before hitting the button. At that moment, I finally understand, oh wow, yeah, if I have to talk about anything today, I want to talk about this. And I think, yeah, on the other hand, what I was connected to what I was talking about also, it's not a mode of procrastination, that one. I think it's more along the lines of just, you know, sometimes you can force things to be certain shapes, certain ways, whatnot. Some other cases you don't need to do that. You are not obliged to do that. You can just be yourself, so to speak, and not worry about fulfilling this or that or being this or that. So yeah, I am incredibly happy to get to choose at the last time, but still to get to choose always what is going to happen here. But anyway, yeah. I mean, for example, I am already quite sure what is going to happen on days like Wednesday this week, so it's also not that bad. At the very least, if nothing else, what I have to decide is just when will be the day that we do reading, when will be the day that we do, for example, also something funny next week will be to actually say, and you know what is going to happen next week? I'm not going to have a bar. No, not next week, this week. I could have said that if I have made something like a schedule. I don't, and that's my issue. But yeah, stuff like that happens, you know. Also, I think, yeah, one of the many issues also is it requires me to know a lot more of things than what I actually know on the daily. I, I assume, for example, I like to assume next week, if we have two projects already on that, we are literally on fucking Monday. Why are we doing this exercise on a Monday, brother? Can't we wait a little bit before I do that? Before I start worrying about what will happen? during next week or during the other one after that. Fucking God, brother, calm down. Okay, let me drink some water. Yes. I guess if I get to remember about it in like 2 or 3 days, we will do it. If not, uh, we will never remember what I was going to say. Ah. But yeah, sorry for letting that side of what gets to be an overly articulated anxiety win. I guess. I don't know. It is still just to me. It's good to plan things out in that way. To other people, it's fucking neurotic anyway. So yeah, sorry. But yeah, um, one other things. Now that we are talking about stuff, and just in that sense, I don't know. I will try. I haven't tried, and I haven't been quite successful lately at making tweets about the stuff. As once again, it's such a fucking struggle sometimes to say anything, but at the same time, it's not really complicated to say to say once again anything. It's not that hard. There are a million messages that are interesting to say, to read, to hear, to watch, to think about, to try to debate, to try to at the very least have in mind. So yeah, at least one of those things can be said on a daily basis, I guess. It's just the same as, I don't know, I have a million different thoughts throughout my day. I don't need to stay in a singular idea or never say anything just because I have them myself. You know, that's part of being a social creature of, and maybe you want to also share. You might also want to at the very least give something to others. That same thing applies here. But yeah, I don't know. It's challenging nonetheless. It's incredibly challenging. I feel like, but it's good. I don't know. It's just slowly learning to be better once again, or as not once again, just as always. Basically, it's always learning to be a little bit better than yesterday. I assume I don't know. It's complicated, brother. It's quite a hard task. Let's say it like that. Compared to other times, it's quite a hard task, but nonetheless, it's something. But yeah, that's that, I guess. Besides that, I don't know. Health. I think. I think I. If I didn't just try, I did talk about it before, and I can properly do a sort of update on all of that because I remember trying to mention how my health was going and all of that. I think if it wasn't like 2 weeks ago, it was when I just started my vacations or such, um, which maybe is 2 weeks ago. And it was, yeah, one of the main reasons as to why I would like to be here properly is because I also want to fucking give myself an opportunity to do things in a way in which I feel happy about them. But one of those issues also is doing every other thing that is related tangentially to all of the things that I want to do, that is taking care of oneself properly. That thing also was not a challenge in terms of something impossible to do, but rather an interesting thing to properly do even better than before. So yeah, it gets to be quite a satisfactory thing to realize that indeed you get to actually perform a lot better once you are interested in what you are doing, and once you also get to see some benefits, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. It's I don't properly talk about it. I never think I will here to a certain degree, or at least not this year, if anything else. But yeah, I don't know. We can say maybe I was in a mental space some weeks ago about, oh yeah, maybe maybe we need to stream like as much as we physically can every single day. Now I can say, okay, good to do that, but at the same time, it's not out of the desperation of doing that. Yeah, I am still one of the, for example, one of the thoughts that I have been still trying to properly process is what the fuck is something that I need to say. I had been trying to fight with this idea, or to properly handle, uh, or another expression can also be wrangling this idea of, you know what, you have a limited existence. What is the first issue that you will deal with, that you will solve before your limited existence evaporates? How you will do that? That's one of the. I always talk about it, and I do believe it's a useful idea to always keep in mind. And the issue has been figuring that out, balanced with the other notion of, and things are going to be fine. You know, it's not such a necessity to act exactly right now. Uh, Once you learn to see life as not just the present, the tortuous, torturous present and nothing else, life gets to be entertaining and life gets to be quite fulfilling, nice, and motivating, I will say. So yeah, it's trying to do all of those things myself, and just I guess trying to follow along those lines in a way in which it feels nice once again. But I don't know. I can't really say I feel in any particular direction or it. It's just trying, still trying to decipher how to properly get to a satisfactory conclusion. Besides that, I don't know. I'm still I'm still doing a lot. So yeah, I get to say I'm happy about that. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Many way too many worries some days. Not worries in terms of, well, yeah, meaningless, but sort of way too many things to think about. I think it's quite a wonderful thing. I At least I can say it from that perspective, I guess. Life is quite a wonderful thing. There are endless things to worry about if one wants to do that. So yeah, I don't have a lack of things to say that I have, that I can keep myself busy with. So that's also nice. That's also very nice. I feel like myself. So yeah, basically just that, I guess. Um, Besides that, is there any other thing? I don't think so, actually. But I don't know, man. I just feel happy. I guess it's one of those times that I can announce it. I think I can. If there is anything worth announcing, is that, yeah. And today I'm fine. Wow, I'm fine. What a wonderful saying. I mean, from a proper perspective, let's say, how many people can truly say that they are fine? I can say that I'm fine. And not just in a, oh wow, how are you doing? I'm fine. How are you? No. It's from an honest observation. I am fine. I am good. I am happy. I am in a good place. I'm mentally nice. Well, and I don't know. I think I don't I don't say it out of, oh wow, yeah, yeah. watch me. But rather, it's just I see many people that I'm pretty sure. I ask them how you are. I get an honest reply, and it isn't fucking I'm fine, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't see that every day. So yeah, I'm happy. That's good enough. That's something to look forward to, I guess. This week live is something to look forward to, but this week at the very least, it's nice, nice to hope for, I guess. But I don't know. What's what's going to be of us, man? Also, today today is 28 supposedly. Let me check. I want to see that. No, okay, today is 29. Ah, yeah. It was yesterday that I spent completely resting. That was 27. Yeah. So today is 28. Tomorrow is 29. Today, tomorrow, we shall get probably to. I think I talked about it. One of the many things that I said throughout this whole month was I want to try to get at the very least 15 proper streams here. So yeah, nice. I think on if nothing goes wrong on Wednesday, it will be the 15th one. So yeah, also looking forward to that. I guess it's just going to be Mahabharata, but I don't know. I have finally slowly gotten accustomed to reading that stuff. I I have to properly keep in mind though that I have to not read anything else, and that's hard. There is way too much information available, man. It's you have a certain perspective of, oh wow, yeah, there is so much information out there. You will never get a proper perspective on things. You will never get a viewpoint, an understanding, a grasp of ideas because there is too much. Okay, no, new revolutionary idea. That's a fucking lie, brother. You can understand things if you actually apply yourself to learning, not in terms of that endless pursuit of knowledge, of vapid knowledge that doesn't fulfill you in any way, but rather in terms of, and you know what, I get to understand the things that I actually care about a lot more if I dedicate myself to learning about them properly. That same thing happens here, but the reality is also I get to understand myself in a way in which I get to see all the other things make a lot more sense. And I get to understand what is it that I actually care about and what is it that I can learn for the sake of what I care about. My final goal is not something so simple as, okay, I don't know, I need to treat this very specific disease. So I need to learn a very specific skill set. I can learn about a lot of things and I can learn about a lot of ideas, concepts, multitude of beneficial factors for what is in the end my proper development of other stuff. And the reality, once you get to that point, is, and not sadly, it's just the reality. There are way too many things out there. If you can properly get an idea of what you want, if you can properly get an idea of what you are interested in and whatnot, there are way too many things to in regards to all of that. And not only sometimes it is overwhelming in terms of, oh wow, yeah, too many options. That whole analogy of the thousand flavors of coffee available to you. Not only that, but also it's there are way too many things that feel incredible to do. And in some cases, I can say it as I was trying to mention. I try to not study that much, but I don't know, man. I guess I can at the very least say, yeah, I fucking love that. I don't know. Is that bad to say? I don't know, man. I don't feel angry because I say it or because I hear it. I am happy because of that. So yeah, I will try to lower the consumption of stuff for Wednesday, so that we can have a proper reading. Not me being mentally exhausted. Like for example, today we are here, but before being here, I had to talk about, I don't know, 2 hours or so about hardcore biology, dietary information, psychology. I after that I had to spend like 2 or 3 hours just reading, processing, understanding, getting things from what I already talked about today. I'm trying to read, and none of those things. And all the other also unavoidable entertainments throughout life and whatnot, like I don't know, following a plot and whatnot. So yeah, it's it's not such an unavoidable part of life to be mentally not tired or exhausted in terms of, oh wow, yeah, the society of tiredness, but rather just the reality. You want to do something, you should be capable of doing it. If you are going to try to do it, you shouldn't force yourself to do things that you know you will never be capable of getting to anywhere or going anywhere with, because you just want to force yourself to do them, so to speak. It's fine to not actually do that. It's quite good to have an interest on things that you want to be good at and do those properly. Once again, proper stuff. And in this case, yeah, you want to read a book, you want to understand what the fuck you are going to be reading. You cannot come and you can read one book. Maybe you can read two books, or let's say you can dedicate 2 hours of reading one book. Maybe you can dedicate 4 hours to reading two books that are unrelated. You absolutely can't dedicate yourself for 6 hours and unavoidably even more time to try and understand other stuff, as in three or even more books unavoidably. So no, I cannot. Being realistic here, I should not try to go through anything or read anything if we want to have a proper stream on Wednesday. So yeah, uh, just just having to do that, I guess. But yeah, anyway, besides that, is there any other thing to actually say? I don't know. I I think we are good. I think we are good. I'm quite satisfied. I guess I am. Yeah, what I said before, I'm quite happy. So yeah, this week looks nice. I guess being revitalized is quite a useful thing, even if you can't actually pursue it, because the pursuit of health itself is unhealthy. Getting to have that as a consequence of every other thing is truly wonderful, I guess. So yeah, basically that. Um, Now, once again, as I was trying to say, tomorrow, I don't even know what we are going to talk about tomorrow. I will, what I think will happen tomorrow is I have to process a lot of stuff. I will figure out something by tomorrow. And yeah, the most important thing is, once again, Wednesday. Tomorrow, tomorrow I shouldn't miss it. That's what matters. But yeah, um, we are we are going to do something, guys. I don't know. I, life, brother. Way too many things. way too many wonderful things to see, to do, to think about. So yeah, just rolling with the punches. Can you say that in this scenario? Is that a proper thing to say? Is that a proper line? I think I don't know. I think when you say it, at least personally, I hear that expression in more of hardship, of a hardship type of context. Not like, oh yeah, tomorrow we get to be here and we are rolling with the punches because of that. No, what? This is a complete blessing to be here, bro. No way that is rolling with any kind of punch or whatever. But who knows? Literally, who knows? Ah, anyway, I don't know. Do I? No, yeah, I don't think I have that much more to add, or that I need to add that much more myself today. Um, as I said, trying to properly be brief and whatnot. That's also good. I, if there is something interesting, if there is something worth learning about, it's to, I guess, value your own time in not just knowing which it stops being, or because it wasn't valuable before. Everyone knows their own time and whatnot. It's just learning to properly see it that way and such, and using it purposefully instead of just feeling like it. I don't know, actions are not truly that useful. So yeah, it's that same thing here. So yeah, no. I don't have that much more to add. That's it for today. Thanks, thanks for everything. I guess. As I said, tomorrow we're going to be here. Wednesday, yeah, and I don't know. After that, I hope the next month starts to some degree. I guess so. So yeah, we just have to see. We just have to expect things to go somewhere, I guess. And anyway, have a very good day, life, evening, Monday. It also, yeah. I fucking imagine. Okay, imagine yourself hearing somebody who says goodbye, but before actually leaving, remember something completely unrelated. Sorry, I am like that. Yeah, I do have way too many things to say in that sense, but uh, something funny that happens is I I don't know. I wasn't. I thought it was like Tuesday today. It wasn't. I thought it wasn't Monday. I am surprised that it was Monday. I sometimes time moves faster than me. Times in many other cases moves incredibly slower than me. So yeah. Anyway, see you on Tuesday. Today is Tuesday already, supposedly. So yeah. Anyway, see you in like 24 hours or so. That's the point. See you next time, whenever it is. And if we don't get to see ourselves next time, that doesn't fucking matter. Have a wonderful life. That's what matters. Everything else is fucking meaningless if your life is not good. That's what fucking needs to be important. So yeah, I guess I don't know. I have a bone to pick with fucking insults. I guess I should do that next time. That's a very wonderful idea to talk about even. Anyway, good night. Good night, because otherwise I will be here, and I already can sleep enough if I go right now. So yeah, good night. Sorry for everything. It was wonderful, but yeah, we also have to be responsible human beings. So yeah, good night.